You know that feeling when your phone is on like 1% battery, screen dims, apps take forever to load, and it just completely ignores your frantic tapping?
Yeah, it's the absolute worst. But you don't yell at the phone for having a bad work ethic?
Right,
Yeah, but
exactly. You just plug it in. But when it comes to our own heads, like when you're staring blankly at a screen or putting off that big project for the 10th time, we treat it like a moral failing.
we really do, yeah.
So, welcome to this custom deep dive crafted just for you. Today, we are looking at a stack of sources. So, transcripts, research notes, and physiological studies pulled directly from the introductory science of the Fix My Brain Today channel.
And if you've ever beaten yourself up over a lack of focus or brain fog or procrastination, our mission today is to reveal why the solution isn't simply trying harder.
Right, because to stop blaming ourselves for mental fatigue,
hmm
we first have to look at the physical resources required to actually run the brain.
Exactly. It's this massively energy-demanding machine, and it requires very specific biological conditions to operate.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because feeling guilty about brain fog feels a bit like yelling at a car for driving slowly when it's simply running out of gas.
That is such a great way to put it. And well, it's not just a general lack of fuel either. It's more like the fuel injection system is physically restricted. What's fascinating here is how that restriction actually happens. I mean, the brain makes up about 2% of your body weight, but it consumes 20% of your oxygen and energy.
Wait, 20%, just for 2% of the body.
Yeah, it's huge energy hog.
Yeah.
And unlike your muscles, the brain cannot store energy for later. It relies on a constant second-by-second delivery of blood flow to bring oxygen and glucose.
Oh, so it's a real-time supply chain issue.
Exactly. Those two elements undergo a chemical reaction in your cells to produce ATP, which is the actual cellular energy your neurons need to fire. So when you experience brain fog, you are basically dealing with suboptimal blood flow. The ATP production just drops.
Wow. So without that constant fuel delivery, the brain physically cannot sustain the high-level functions required for learning or forming habits. You are literally running a high-performance engine on fumes.
You really are. Which is why this biological blueprint so perfectly explains complex, frustrating behaviors like procrastination.
Yeah, and the channel outlines a core three-question framework for this, right? What is happening? Why is it happening? And what can you do?
Right. So with procrastination, what is happening is a literal battle over those limited physical resources between different brain networks.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Because if I am putting off a major work presentation, the sources say it is because my emotional brain, the amygdala, is overpowering my prefrontal cortex, the planning center.
Yep, it just completely hijacks the system.
But wait, doesn't that just give us an incredibly convenient excuse to be lazy? Like, does this mean sheer willpower and discipline are basically myths?
This raises an important question. It's not that discipline doesn't matter, but willpower relies entirely on the prefrontal cortex having enough fuel to operate.
Ah, so you need the fuel first.
Exactly. And here is why it is happening. When you face a stressful task, your body releases stress chemistry like cortisol and adrenaline. That chemistry physically constricts the blood vessels leading to your prefrontal cortex.
Wait, it actually shrinks the blood vessels.
It does. It shunts that vital oxygen and blood flow straight to the amygdala for a fight-or-flight survival response. So your logical brain is literally being starved of oxygen.
That is wild.
Right. You can't white-knuckle your way out of that state because the tool you use for willpower is just completely offline.
That completely changes how I view forcing myself to work. So if my prefrontal cortex is effectively suffocating, what is the what can you do part? How do we biologically get the blood back to the logic center?
Well, the ultimate goal of this channel's philosophy is moving from being a passive observer of those symptoms to an active participant in your brain health. It really goes down to pulling specific biological levers.
Take exercise, right? The sources note it is not just a general tip to look good.
Yeah, not at all. The sheer mechanical force of blood pumping during exercise causes the cells lining your blood vessels to release nitric oxide.
And nitric oxide acts as a vasodilator, so it physically widens the blood vessels, allowing more oxygen to reach the prefrontal cortex.
You got it. It also triggers BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which is the protein responsible for neuroplasticity, so it's actually helping the brain grow new neural connections.
So you are actively engineering a better resource delivery system for your brain.
Exactly, you're building a better highway.
So what does this all mean? Like, how does this biological understanding change our approach to things like long-term brain aging?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it changes everything. The sources make a crucial distinction here. Memory loss and cognitive decline are often brushed off as just normal aging, but they are actually biological system issues.
Meaning they aren't just inevitable.
Right. Chronic inflammation or degraded microvascular health over decades slowly starves the brain of that fuel. Understanding this mechanism empowers you to tackle the root causes, like preserving your vascular health today, rather than just resigning yourself to an inevitable decline.
It completely reframes the entire narrative. Your mental struggles are biological puzzles to be solved, not personal failings to be punished.
Provide the system with the raw materials it needs, and the software basically runs itself.
I love that. Well, we will leave you with this final thought to mull over today. If things like memory loss or severe brain fog are not just a normal part of aging, but a biological system issue, how many other daily mental struggles have you simply accepted as just your personality, when they might actually just be a biological system begging for better fuel?